and I had one, so I had to bring them down.
Tiebreaker. Okay, fairly normal. Directional choice is a little iffy. I think you can play here, but it's fine.
Yeah,
Doesn't
I do have a
it doesn't
question
actually
about that.
matter if your opponent plays this Joseki like this, because then you can just come back here. Yeah.
Gotcha. I do
uh,
because this happens actually a lot in my games. I always thought this was the better corner because there wasn't a lot at C14. So is that the wrong way to think?
I will. That's the issue, right? So white just plays like this, and then you just don't have a lot on the left side. So
Hmm,
now white can go ahead and play here, or they can attach and they can start building. They can take Sente, essentially, right?
I see.
So you may want to exchange this first, and if they play like this, then come back here.
Okay, that's good
It's
advice.
always
Thank you.
it's always good to when you have a corner that's facing a star point
Yeah, to
to
approach.
make an exchange first,
Hmm.
and then do the thing you want. Because now it's harder for white to actually build the right side, and if they play like this, they're forced to build a smaller side. So generally speaking, this is good shape for white, but you can also start building as well. And a lot of times, your opponent may play like this, and well, really, it's up to you how you play. So like this, I
Gotcha.
think your opponent made a mistake by playing this wall, because now when you play here, you're gonna get this nice shape. Well, I mean that's what happened in game.
Yep.
Wow, definitely need to play the two space. So black plays here, and then you can play this move. Or if you want to get fancy, you can play this one, which is definitely possible. But this means black is going to be playing for a lot of territory. And this is kind of what's going to happen. Is black is just going to be able to just take a lot of territory and force you to play this way, and then eventually you're stuck with this giant blob. But black also needs to match that blob with his own territory. But playing high here just allows black to just come in. Probably play the Hane first, and if they double, probably isn't a bad idea to play like this. I don't know if it'll matter. So my thought is what'll happen is we can get this, and depending on how white plays, we can actually
That looks so risky to me.
we can get this exchanges. And
That
if
makes it look
white
better.
comes back to capture, we can play the Atari on top, and then try to connect underneath. Maybe just here. This way, if the opponent plays like this, we can go for the squeeze. Does that help us though? Can we capture these stones? Well, of course, if the opponent plays here, this is just good for us. You just be winning. Um,
That's a hard
so
capture
turning
race for me.
seems to work, but we have to deal with this. And then they connect and tie, and yeah, I think you can just capture if we're able to do it this way. So the opponent is going to have a difficult time allowing you to push and cut like this. Maybe they exchange here first, but again, play the Atari and then play here, or potentially this. So here, and that would be a ko. So we would need to just play this one. And then we do run into some issues, but I think overall we can get this. And depending on how this goes, you will run into some trouble. For example, like this. If this ladder doesn't work for you, which it doesn't. But I will say your corner should be alive. It's actually fairly complicated, and I just lost it. There we go.
I was gonna say that's really
So
complicated.
here,
But,
maybe the
wow.
Atari, and then Hane. The issue with playing like this is that, let's say you play here and then Atari, you can descend, and white would need to play the Atari here, and you're alive. If we play here, we get this, and there's no Atari here, so we're alive like this. I think overall you should be fine
Excuse me.
playing like this. So white, my deduction is white can't play the Hane, and if you can get this for free, that's important. Because now, obviously white would like to play here, but the issue is, um, I think white should actually just play here. So even if you come out, white can attack this group or potentially threaten to cut directly like this, and then attack. So if you play here, white can play like this, or even play here first. And then if like this, we can descend, or now we have a little bit more leeway in attacking. But
Yeah.
white put themselves in a bad position here. All right, so you got the Hane anyways. It's good.
This got messy. I remember. I was afraid I wouldn't be able to make the eye if I connected.
It's probably best you just don't make that exchange at all. Right? You should just play one. That way, when they do play here, there's nothing. Right? So even if they play like this, you can still come back and live. You do have this move, right? So you can come back here. I'm unsure. Well, there's also just you have the Ataris, and then you can connect it underneath.
Hmm.
So if you have the connection underneath like this, then white has no business trying to kill you. Ooh, even here you still have some issues. So what did white play? All right, so white tried doing that, but if white plays here, you need to come back and play this.
This is essentially what happened, just in a different order. Wari.
What was the my angle here? Right. So even this move hurts a little bit. However, play like this, and then play here. I think we're fine. So like this, we could probably avoid dying, right? Obviously, white's going to get the outside moves, which is going to help them. But we've basically gutted their own territory like this, and I think we should be way ahead. Let me confirm. Yeah, you're up by like 5 points. I don't know if there's a better way of playing, but from what I can see, we didn't need to lose the two stones.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you extended, makes sense. And then you got to defend. So you played here, but I think just defending like this is better. You can lose the one stone. Maybe potentially you were looking at coming
I
out here,
was.
but
Yeah.
there's some issues here.
I never got to play it.
And the worst thing that you want to happen is your group getting hurt here. So that Aji realistically isn't going to be any good. And then we should just extend all the way. So now when the opponent plays like this, we can play here.
I never play realistically. I always
Okay,
play
the opponent
imaginative
is
go.
asking to die here. Like you should exchange this and then jump. If they jump out, then that just means you get to capture the one stone. Very nice. And like this, white needs to run. However, if left like this, I think white's happy to, even if you do get this exchange, white's happy to force this type of thing. Maybe not that. Maybe you can exchange here first and then do this. When it comes out, you could probably get away with this. What are your thoughts on this move?
It definitely looks good. I was fairly nervous on the left side. Even though I have a lot of liberties, I wasn't sure if I could make two eyes.
Well, my thought is what we want to do is, in a way, sacrifice for the outside. So, for example, like this, we can play here, and then we're kind of building our
Yeah,
area while
this
we're
is
getting
thick.
territory on the top right.
This is nice.
The other thing is, like, for example, this is obviously going to work. We can also play here first,
Why
and
not
then like
7
this.
at 8
We
instead?
do end
Just
in,
capture.
the order is kind of unfortunate, but we kind of need to play this way.
He's moving
Because if we
fast. I
play
don't know if
here,
I'll be able to.
we run into this issue.
I don't know if I'll be able to catch him.
Although, depending on how you look at the game, if you're able to get this move, I think we should be able to, kill white. But, this is kind of like a big if. So if they just extend here first and then play the Atari, and then this, it's a kill.
Yeesh.
A kill for a lot. Maybe we can get around that by, playing some moves. But in terms of playability, I think the Ko is good for black. So playing one would force white to play like this. And if we extend first, connect, and then white has an option. So white can play here and we can cut. This would give you a lot on the outside. If white connects, then you have this move. And I guess what you're worried about is white cutting. But there's nothing white can do to cut.
Mm.
White can play here, and then you can extend if like this. We can connect, but here, actually, this might be a little bit more difficult. Attach.
That's ruinous.
So that means we don't extend here. Instead, we play this move because now, like this, we can force the extend, and then it's a double Atari here.
Wow, that's nice.
It is a fight, but if one side or the other is safe, then you can always focus on the other. You do have to worry about 12, but I don't think it's that big of a deal, especially when white's close to dying. And so in the game, white came close to cutting. We just connect, makes sense. Block, wedge. You can still play this move.
Hmm.
So what'll happen is you can play here, and the group dies. And if you play this one, you can play the Atari first, and then take.
I can't believe I missed that. I knew my eyes were on it.
This move is huge.
I think I even placed something similar to it at the end of the game.
Your opponent, like this move is a huge mistake. You could probably just exchange this first, but you're gonna lose out on some Machi. You need to play here, and then play this one, or play here, because now they can't connect. If they play this one, you force this exchange,
I'm upset
and
at
you're winning.
myself for missing this.
Can you see how one is a very powerful move here?
Yeah, and in the end game, I try something like this, and it didn't work out. But that's because I lose the 2 stones at P15. So I'm just kind of mad at myself for missing this now.
Yeah, no, if doing it now would have been game over,
Yeah,
because there's absolutely nothing. You don't want to exchange this, but you would play here, take, and then potentially white has to come back, but maybe not. But after something this large, what can white actually do?
yeah, this is too good for black. I'm sad I missed it. I was so
Okay.
concerned about my weaknesses
Um,
more
I
than my
see what you
opponent's.
tried to do, but you gave away the Aji. Let me think. Can you still play this move? And I would say the answer is yes. Now you don't have to worry about connecting. So if you can still play this move, that's great. So even like this, right? You can connect if here, then this.
I
So
think
white's in trouble.
I think just like the other review, I was more focused on my own weaknesses than my opponent's, for sure. I remember feeling like I had to save that group, the black group.
Yeah, well, for me, I usually don't focus on my own weaknesses. I am a very aggressive player, so I notice things like uh, actually, what's wrong with the extending? Are you worried about this?
Yeah, I thought he could chase me out and take the corner.
Well, you wouldn't really be taking the corner. So after something like this, you'd still be able to come back here. But even if you didn't come back, the best you can get is 1 stone, and you should be alive.
Gotcha.
If he does play here, you would just descend. And the idea is that um, you're going to get Sente to come back and live. Probably, preferably with 19, but um, yeah, there's not really much he can do in terms of attacking your corner. So your corner should be able to live. You never want to give your opponent unnecessary
Gotchas,
strength,
yeah. Oh,
because now this thickness here is going to ruin your day. But it looks like you live anyways. Your opponent, gives you the thickness back. And for whites, at this point in the game, you're like you just got back a lot of points, but I'd say black is still ahead. You probably want to just give up the 2 stones and focus on either something like this or descend first. That way, black is forced to come back or play here, and then you can come back and try to build something in the center. Maybe here, or you can extend once, play back, and then come back here. At least this way, you've taken a lot of points. You do have some Aji here, but your corner should be alive. I'm gonna say should be because even if it's like this, we have this Aji here. But maybe I missed something. Doesn't look like you're fully alive. Well, actually, no. You can just live with something like this. Nope, never mind. You can't. You're dead as a doornail. So ignore what I said. You need to come back and fix. As for black, maybe you should play here first.
Hmm.
And the idea is if they play like this, you're getting more out of it, but also there's room for a potential cut right here, right? So you could potentially cut the corner, and as shown before, the corner's not fully alive, so they would need to come back and make it alive. Probably something like this, and they can live locally, but the corner would be 2 points, and you would get Sente on the outside, right?
Hmm.
So I think potentially this has a good punishment here. There is some things to worry about. So, for example, I could potentially do this. So maybe you want to just take and then come back to stuff like this, where you're taking a lot of points. Your group is okay now. White's going to try to build, this center area. So maybe you just take this chance to come and reduce. But here, I think White kind of messed up here. Like White had a chance to just give up a couple stones to kind of really build this area. Potentially even play stuff like this. Kind of solidify this area, but it also gives black some points, so I'm not quite sure. I think the game is very difficult for white here. Did anything crazy happen?
To my knowledge, we both just kind of played bad moves, and he was able to keep up. And he was supposed to win by 0.5 in the end game, but he made a mistake, and I killed a bunch of stones at the very end.
Yeah, this move feels like it's good, but you should just play here.
Hmm.
Because I guarantee you, whatever you can make, or white can make, in this small area, you can make it back by just playing for the points on the side here. Like if we just do a quick estimate, you should be ahead. Yeah, 6 points.
Hmm.
There's also this here, right? Like you have some Aji that you can use to remove the gut here, but you can also connect underneath for all the points on the left side. That's important. But in general, what hurt you the most, I think, is losing these 2 stones and not noticing S10.
Yeah, that part's embarrassing.
I, if there's any reason to why you would lose this game, it's because of these 2 areas. And of course, continuing with moves like this doesn't really, help you either. This is how you start losing games: is you play bad shape moves. And the reason this is a bad shape move is because it's on the 4th line, and white has the chance to directly cut it from either side. So you already, if you think about it, you're already cut here, right? So when white jumps in, now white's cutting this connection and this connection. So you're in trouble. Here, that's probably fine. You can actually exchange this first. Nope, never mind. I lied. For whatever reason, I was thinking, well, I would try this and then cut, but actually, what happens is you just lose the 3 stones. I'm bad. Here you should definitely not answer. It's just 2 stones. You lost a lot of Aji here, so that's kind of why it probably came back to you even. You missed a good chance to be able to play this move. In terms of gameplay, after everything is settled. Oh, did you get to cut? You probably should still cut and then jump out. And I say this because later you may be able to cut this group, and that'll be important. The other reason is, let's say, for example, white plays here. This wedge allows you to make this type of move, where if
That's
white
nice.
connects,
Yeah, that's nice.
you can cut now. And if white plays here, maybe later you'll be able to cut, but you've broken in a little bit further into white's area. Sure. So I'm noticing a thing here. Potentially, this is a very, very large move right now. For example, you might be able to get this cut and force white to live locally on the top side.
I think this happens in the game.
Maybe with something like this, and then now that you have this, this is a forcing move for white to live here. I think it's a forcing move. Potentially, it may not be because white has this, but if white's not careful, white would still need to come back here anyways. Oops. Let's see. Wait, what? This is huge. That's huge. White lost a lot of points here.
Yeah, it didn't happen. I was worried about my corner in the top right, but I did see that. I mentioned it in my stream, but yeah, I was worried about this. My experience with the fourth line tiger mouth always goes bad.
Potentially, it can be dangerous. But you have a lot of outside liberty, so they're not going to be able to. I was going to say they're not going to be able to live, but apparently that was a lie. Maybe you have to play here. But this has the same issue. Well, actually, yeah, no, it has the same issue.
I could
So
have
if you play
breeded
here and then
myself,
here,
guys, but I
and
just
then play
know
like
that
this, you should be fine. If
it's
they
trouble.
play this side, you can just connect. And you should also be fine. Maybe not, actually. Right, because of this. So maybe we just play here first. And then play here. If not, we have to deal with this. I think you're right to worry. It does seem like there's some severe oddity. Of course, you could always just play like this, right, and give up the stone. Technically speaking, this should be okay for you. If they play like this, you're alive. If they just take it, you may lose an extra couple points, but I think the bottom left is a lot bigger.
Ah, I
So
see.
I think you could have just given up the one stone and lived.
I see. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Just playing like this felt painful for sure.
Ooh,
We're
there's
at the last minute of this review, and then
I
I'll
think I'm
I'll play
seeing
a
where the
live
death
game.
happened. Oh no. I see. Could you get anything better? You probably should play the cow.
Mm.
Yeah, you know what? As a matter of fact, you should definitely play the cow. And the reason being is this move here,
Yeah.
potentially not alive. But if they do play it, that's a huge chunk of territory that you got for free. But the co is it's just always take the co first. That's very important. So take the co once, and potentially they'll play a really bad co threat like this. That's an extra point. And then if you feel like you don't have co threats, you can play here. But I guarantee you do have some co threats that you can play. Let me find them. For example, you can play this as a co threat. You can play this as a co threat.
I remember in the game I was
Right,
at
so even
sudden
if they
death,
do take,
and I wasn't sure.
this is pretty big.
I thought it was a real co, but it really
And the
isn't.
reason being is, well, you're actually going to cut everything off.
It's what they call a picnic co or flower co for black.
And
I
this would
didn't
all die.
realize it. To be fair, I was in sudden death, and I wasn't sure who was going
So
to win.
you have plenty of co threats and should definitely play the co.
Mm.
Okay, they connected.
My fear could have lost me the game.
Still playing really weird moves. Endgame, not my thing, but I can tell that you guys are not playing the optimal endgame here. And then something weird happened.
You can tell we're not playing optimal end game.
Oh, did he miss an Atari and then he killed the group? Yeah, he did.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the
Do you have
computer
any
had him.
questions about the game?
No, the computer had him up by 0.5 if he played correctly, I guess. Um, but no, I was just gonna ask, what do you think the most important takeaway is? If I remember, finding the Tetsuji on the right would have been nice, and then not leaving those two stones to die on the bottom would have been nice.
Yeah. Uh, the big takeaway for Black is missing that Tsuji thing.
Mm.
I mean, if you just look at the AI graph, that huge spike when white plays here, it looks like it thinks you can kill. I probably even found a better move here, but potentially, this works. It says something neat, but you can play here first, right? If they connect, then you have this move, and then here locally, this is not alive. So I'm not sure of what the AI is. Well, actually, couldn't play here because this would be locally alive. But this actually isn't that bad, considering you'll be able to play this in Sente and then come into the corner here. So, yeah, I think the big thing is missing the Tsuji here.
Mm. For for Rotten Banana, I would assume his takeaways was playing too high on the left, and then trying to live on the right at it when he was at a disadvantage.
Yeah, white jumping in here was not that great of an idea. And, AI is showing that probably should just play there directly.
Closer,
No
yeah.
need to allow black to play the good move here. Um, But I would say like this all started because White tried to play fancy here, and White doesn't really know how to. Banana, you probably don't know how to follow this move up properly. So if you just play Joseki, where Joseki sets you up with good moves, you can follow up with even better moves. So for example, like this, you can play here, or now you can even fight black in your territory. So big things for Banana is play. It's good to be creative, but it's also important to understand conventional moves because they give you solid shape. As for you, Mikito, I think really understanding shape weaknesses and life and death is important.
Yeah, I definitely have to work on life and death, um, and shape. Did a whole series on shape. You think I'd be better? But
All right.
all right. Thank you for the review.
Yeah,
Thank you,
my
guys.
pleasure.